Unsyndicated presents Off the Board, the weekly gambling show. Hosted by Blake Majerzak and Mike Iverson.
Welcome in.
Hey.
This is a safe space for everyone. And I'm Blake Majerzak. He's Mike Iverson. This is Off the Board on the unsyndicated network. I think that's what we call it, the unsyndicated network. What do you think about that,
network? Mike? I think that's big time. I think we're on a network. We are talking gambling on a network. I don't think we get much bigger than this.
Yeah, this is Todd is just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And we are we are on him and Sean's network. We're networking right now.
We're unhinged on their network, and I don't think YouTube's gonna like what I have to say about some of these games last week, but I am ready, and I'm ready to lay some money. I laid a lot of money this week, so let's see.
Love it.
Some dumb stuff too.
Just to start off real quick. How late did you stay up for the end of Thursday Night Football last night, or did you go to bed before?
Come on, you know better than that, Blake. You know better than that.
Okay. So did you see highlights today though? Do you?
Yeah, I saw highlights and read the box score and all that.
Okay.
Yep.
We got the full Jameis Winston experience last night. And I thought it was just beautiful. Because he ran for a touchdown. He threw for a touchdown, and then did you see the 2-point conversion play where his helmet?
I did not.
Okay,
no.
So I think it was like the play before or whatever. I'm not sure if it was the one that he ran in or threw in, but his helmet comms got knocked out of his helmet, but they were still dangling there. So he was running a 2-point conversion play, and he's yelling at the sidelines, "I can't hear you," because his helmet comms thing was literally outside of his helmet. And during the 2-point conversion play, he drops back the pass, and the helmet comms thing is somehow dangling in front of his face, and he throws for a 2-point conversion. It was incredible. And then 2 drives later, he throws one of the worst picks you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, that's what happens when I've got the under, right? You score 27 points in the middle of a blizzard. It's such a blizzard, you don't want to kick field goals, so you just go for touchdowns and 2-point conversions.
I'm very mad at myself because we've talked about it a million times on this show. That was the most predictable, Steelers favored on the road
after a black and blue game.
The fact that I didn't just hammer the Browns, I'm so mad at myself for that, because that would have been the easiest bet ever.
Yeah, the weather kept me off the Browns. I didn't know what was going to be, what it was going to. They haven't been utilizing Chubb enough. I didn't know if they were going to pass with Winston. If that's a normal game, just a little bit of wind or something, I'm all over Cleveland on that one, because Jameis was going to have a good game. It was black and blue. I just saw that being a tight Steeler, ugly win to fit with the rest of them.
And I love snow football. I love it so much.
Yes, I had to watch a little bit.
The visuals from that game were incredible.
Yeah. Did you see Jameis doing snow angels after?
Oh yeah. I never watched the Amazon post game because I don't think it's very good. Richard Sherman's horrible.
Yes.
So is Fitzmagic. He's not good. But I literally kept it on just because they said Jameis is coming on. I was like, I have to hear what he's gonna say.
Yeah, I don't see it, not because it's bad, it's because it's past my bedtime.
Yeah, no, Jameis. I will watch a Jameis interview anytime it comes across my timeline. His pregame interview was incredible because halfway through it, he the reporter was said basically, "Are you excited to play in the snow?" And he lit up like a 6-year-old on Christmas. He was so excited.
He is special, but I'll tell you what. If you go back to early Jameis, Tampa, he's matured. He really has.
Oh, yeah.
You see it in his interviews. I think you see it on the field and the way he's trying to be the leader the quarterback has to be and stuff. So on a serious note, he really is. He's had a couple of, but then he just busts into Eminem and goes Jameis.
He, in the offseason, obviously he was on the Saints last year.
Yep.
During the offseason, he one of the Saints like equipment managers or something like that invited him to their wedding, and a video from it came out. Like he gave like the prayer before the meal, and it was like
Was it crab
it was
legs?
awesome. No. It was great though. Like he was like super heartfelt and like
seriously. I've seen a couple of
incredible.
interviews and I'm like, wow. Like it's like he's mature. He's losing a little bit of his Jameis, but even in his seriousness, he's Jameis. Which is
he's still gonna throw. He's Mr. 30-30.
30-30,
30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
You never know what you're gonna get out of that.
Do you want to get into last week's slate and how we did?
Yeah, we might as well. Let's jump into that. We got a couple other things we can get to, but yeah, we might as well get into that, right?
All right. I sprayed the board, and
yes, you did.
I went 3-5.
Yes.
So
and that'll happen. That'll happen. I always tell you, the more you throw out there, which I'm impressed with the level of throws that you have out there, you just leave yourself open.
I'm just trying to catch you. And it's not working.
There's revenge coming.
I don't think so. I think I'm chalked. Just to go through these games real quick. The Clemson Pitt game was a fantastic game.
It was drunk though at the end.
I was nervous about overtime because I had the under and I was very nervous. This game's going to go into OT, and then Klubnik runs that like 50-yard touchdown to win the game for them. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, I would with the 10.5, I would have welcomed the overtime. I was worried about a late Clemson score and then some pitchy woo back end cover by Clemson. So I was getting even a little tight on that one.
I didn't catch a second of Illinois MSU. All I've seen all week is everyone just losing their mind about Jonathan Smith. So apparently they played really bad.
Oh, they were awful. They were awful on all aspects. No,
I mean, neither of those teams are really watchable for me. Like Illinois is okay, I guess, but I mean, you know me. I'm not tuning into a Michigan, especially now. I'm not tuning into a lot of Michigan State football. I don't need to anymore. It's great.
No. Well, I might be tuning into a little bit this week because of that trend I passed on to you, and I've got to see who's going to hit it, but we'll talk about that later.
That's you want to talk about a game that was drunk because you talked about that with Clemson Pitt. South Carolina, Missouri was drunk off of its ass. South Carolina jumped out to what, a 14-point lead, and then Missouri came back. That game was crazy, and that game should have went under.
Yeah, it looked like it was exactly what we were going to talk about, right? We talked about that game. And then I look up and Missouri's fucking killing it. I'm like, what's going on here?
No. So, and if you watched the first 3 quarters of that game, it should have went under. And then it went over by 20 points.
I ordered my shirt today, Blake, and I can't wait to wear it on this show. And it's the simplest thing. It's my life as the Undertaker. It's not under till it's over. That's bottom line, my shirt. That is going to be it. And that's that game. That's a ton of these games. So with that, we'll get into the whole thing, but I had in my account bets that I had a chance to win every game on the last drive.
Really?
It didn't. Yep, it didn't. We're just like this game was supposed to be under. I was going to cover, and let's not. I mean, do I need to go SVP on my San Jose bet? Like what? Anyways,
that was brutal.
Mike, stay focused here.
Yeah, Tennessee was never really. Georgia was never in doubt in that game.
No, they looked good.
And that game day, because Nico was confirmed to play, I think shortly after our show, that line went all the way down to like 9.
Yeah,
like I had it at 9.
Yeah, I was telling you, the guy had it before. He had it power rated at 4 points, and how high that was. They said that's because he's not playing, so it had to come. It can only come down so much, so fast. So yeah, but once that started coming down, you knew he was playing.
And then the Oregon-Wisconsin game, like your sides both ways were 1,000,000% right. I at one point I had to, because I was watching. I had Georgia Tennessee on my main screen most of the night. and I had the Oregon-Wisconsin game on a second screen, and then it was like fourth quarter. I was like, I have to switch.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, I watched.
I was afraid for Oregon.
Yeah, it was looking like it was getting there, but again, playing with their food, who knows what they're doing. But that game worked out for me, obviously. But the side and the total worked out. That's the game I actually envisioned against Penn State. I don't like Penn State. I think Penn State is not as good as their record seems. I think Oregon is. It just happened to work out. But again, that's the life of betting. You never know.
Yeah. All right. On to the NFL.
Bam, baby.
I sprayed the board, but this worked out better.
That did work out better for
you killed it. Well,
yeah,
you killed it.
Except for, what did I say? That Detroit game is going to kill me because it looks just like the Tennessee game, and they could go over themselves, and they did.
Detroit.
Hold on here. We got to call a timeout. My son might be in a fight.
Oh.
All right, they broke it up. Sorry, didn't mean to, but there's two things I'm going to stop this show from. It's going to be a goal and it's going to be a fight. And he's getting escorted to the box. So he's got his name on the score sheet, baby.
I was ready to have Todd pull up the live stream of it. We were going to do play-by-play on it. If there was a fight.
That was awesome. Sorry.
We were breaking all the DMCA rules. We're bringing it onto the screen.
Let's go. Screw this thing.
Washington, Philly. I mean, like, that game was close, and then that Washington fourth down call was brutal. That game obviously was over a week ago. Now it feels like forever ago. So,
and I had dinner with a couple of guys tonight, and they were talking about how easy Detroit's going to have it in the NFC. And I said, you better watch out for Philly. They have found their way. They have taken care of business the last 6 games. I mean, they're killing. They have their moments, but they're killing it right now.
Here's the thing, though. They also have Nick Sirianni as their head coach, so
without a doubt. But all Nick Sirianni is Dan Campbell on a bad day. Let's be honest here. Like when they were going to the Super Bowl,
he's definitely dumber.
They were going to the Super Bowl. I got you, but when they were going to the Super Bowl, Sirianni was going to get a statue right next to Doug fucking Peterson.
Yeah, but then he started crying during the anthem.
Oh, and going after fans, and I mean, I get it. He's lost. I've said it earlier. I mean, he's one that he doesn't like to take points. He does all that stuff, but right now you got to stop now because they're doing their stuff.
He's very Italian. He's like got that Italian.
Hey, chicken parm, come
on. Yeah, we called it with that Pittsburgh game. Both of us were on the right side of that.
Tomlin train, baby.
I was completely wrong on the over, but that's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That was just the Pittsburgh defense showed up and was fantastic, and Ravens defense is still obviously very good.
Yeah.
But we know if Pittsburgh is dogs, you take them. If they're favorites, you stay away. That's it. The Lions game, I don't even like that game was.
How is Doug Peterson still a coach?
Their ownership doesn't want to pay a buyout.
Well, here was the thing. So I do take that back because, well, they're back this week, aren't they? Then they already had their bye week, or is this their bye week? No, their bye week is this week. So he's going to get fired Monday. They actually made a comment that they're out and they will not be back into business until Monday. So he'll get fired on Monday.
So
That's
they did
the dumbest thing ever.
They did 2 weeks in London and then did not have a bye.
I think they did it by choice. Yeah, they did not. They came back and went right into play.
That is insane. You do 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, the Bills looked fantastic against Kansas City. That was a great game. Like I wasn't watching anything else. I turned off Red Zone and went to this.
No, I didn't Red Zone it. I didn't do anything. I watched that game, and it played right into, as soon as we're done with this NFL slate, I'll tell you, it played right into an evil plan I have, Blake, and I'll see if you like it or not. But we'll get done here, and I'll tell you.
And the only problem I had with that, real quick, was I hate Tony Romo so much. Todd, don't pull up the picture. Don't do it. And he was just brutal on that call. He was like, there was no time left, and he was still like just like fully engorged about Patrick
Yes.
Mahomes. He's
Yes.
like, oh, I wouldn't count him out. It's like there's 18 seconds left. They're down 2 scores. Just chill out. Okay.
Yeah. Stop.
Just chill out.
Just stop.
And I know you didn't stay up for Monday Night Football and you missed a fantastic game. Did you go to bed at halftime of Monday Night Football? That's what I'm assuming you did. Chargers.
That's
Bengals.
probably a best bet. That's the best bet would be that I was in bed at halftime. I usually do make it to halftime, but once action stops, it's 9-9.
Because that game was over at halftime, and then the Bengals brought it all the way back. That game was nuts. And
because when I went to bed, that was going under.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were kicking their ass.
But I was pissed because I put together a parlay and it was Burrow 2 touchdowns, Jamar Chase touchdown, something else, and Bengals money line. And then at halftime, I live bet Bengals money line. It was like plus 550. Double loser. That was brutal. It was brutal, but I did have the over, so it all like it basically washed out in my account, but still.
Yeah, and there's a Zach Taylor. How's the guy have a job? So he needs to be fired.
That game was not his fault, though.
But it is. The whole thing is his fault. That team is good. It's the way he coaches and runs that team. And you know what I'm going to tell you? He needs to be fired so he can get hired. He's going to be an awesome offensive coordinator. He's Jim fucking Schwartz, right? Awesome defensive coordinator. He cannot coach. He cannot lead men. They've got to stop it. He's going to get Joe Burrow killed. You can't drop back 50 times a game.
If they would have won that game if the kicker made a kick. He missed 2 kicks in the final 2 minutes of that game.
They're the way more skilled team. They win that game if they play tough football. They can't run the ball enough to take the pressure off Joe Burrow. And when you can look at the Lions. The Lions are doing Jared Goff. I'm sorry. Love him. He's my MVP pick. He's half the quarterback of Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to
they shouldn't have let
him
they didn't want to pay Joe Mixon, so they had to let him go.
There's another right there. Exactly.
And they should have kept him. So.
Well, and he probably saw a little bit of the writing on the wall too. So
yeah.
But all right.
Let's see these results real quick. Yep. This is painful for me because it keeps getting worse and worse. This is mean, Todd. This is mean. The Romo one looks like that looks like Romo, but that does not look like Joe Burrow at all.
They're so pretty though. It should be Harbaugh and Burrow.
That's just mean. All right. I did.
Hey,
Todd let me know though. I did go up 0.001 somehow.
As I tell you, the key to this whole thing is improvement every week, Blake. Improvement every week.
Yep.
So, all right. So we got one over 500, but I want to get to that evil plan I was talking about. See what you think of this. So we had the Buffalo Kansas City game. As everybody knows, I've got 40-1 odds on Jared Goff to win the MVP. I need to start compiling other players that are going to be into it. So my evil plan was, and I waited, and I had a boost, and I'm waiting for whoever was going to lose that game, be it Mahomes or Allen, was obviously going to drop in the MVP race. And I was going to peg them. So there's my number. There's one for Todd. I'm going to peg him. I had him so I could grab him. And I wanted it to be Mahomes. Why did I want it to be Mahomes? Because most likely, in my opinion, the Lions and the Chiefs are going to be the number 1 seeds in the AFC and the NFC. Mm-hmm. The MVP, all but 2 of them in the last 16 years are from the number 1 AFC or NFC seeded team. So Mahomes loses. I now have 40-1 on Goff and 15-1 on Mahomes.
Doesn't Mahomes' stats this year though worry you?
Because it's not Mahomes, that's great because then it's Goff, and I win more money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The one I'm not worried about that's still up there somehow at like a plus 275 is Lamar Jackson because they're going to lose 5 games. They're not going to give it to a 5-loss quarterback.
Yeah.
So now, if you look at the next 3 games, Buffalo has It looks a little bit easier now that San Francisco's playing like crap, but they come
And
to
Brock
Detroit.
Purdy's hurt.
Yep, they're coming to Detroit. They've got these tough games. So if I can get them to lose and get him to drop, then I've got him. Over the last, they said 16 years, 14 of them at number 1 seeds. The 2 that weren't was Matt Ryan in 2016. And the only reason he beat out Brady because that was Deflategate. Right?
Oh, it was the year after.
Yep. And then Aaron Rodgers in 2014 beat out Brady and Wilson, but his stats were beyond all of them. And he was the number 2 seed, just like Matt Ryan was. Because actually, both those years, like Drew Brees had unbelievable years back then. And he couldn't get anything because his team wasn't up there. So if I can get the number 1 seed quarterbacks, I'm good. And I don't see the out would be if somehow the Lions fall on their face and the Eagles jump in there, right?
Mike, would you call your MVP bets a bundle rooski?
Bundle rooski. I'm not saying that.
Real quick, too. Do you have any Heisman at this point, or no? Because I think it's
I've got
it's
one.
Hunter. Who do you have?
It is. I've got Genty at 7-1.
Okay.
And I need.
I think
Hunter
it's
to
one of
fall
those
back.
two.
Yes, if I could have caught Hunter when he was even money, so that could have been my get my money back kind of bet if he wins it. But now he's minus money, so that's part of my evil plan here. Is I've put on the show and in my account, I've got Colorado. If Colorado loses, he could drop a little bit. If Colorado wins, I can't get on that bet, but I win my bets this week, so that's good.
I wonder what and I'll look this up. I wonder what Colorado is right now to win the Big 12. I know it's probably not crazy odds, but
God, I know they talk about it every morning as I'm driving into work. My memory, I can't remember it. But so last week, the public's back. Like with it,
I still didn't have a good week.
9-5 with faves and 8-6 with the overs, and this week is awful. Have you seen the lines this week with?
Oh yeah,
8 road favorites, 7 games are 6 or more, 5 of them 7 or more, 2 of them over 10 points, and I don't think so.
And there's 6 teams on a bye this week. That's tough.
So, and here's the thing. Oh, 2 kids are going to get in a fight in front of the camera here. Get out of my way, kid. So with that, here's why I think the public's having a day. This is all kind of correlated to why I was saying that. I think the public's having a good time because I think they're afraid to set these lines as high as they should be. Like, you take one like the Lions, 7.5. If you go a couple years ago, that's a 10.5 line easily. But they know the sharps are going to jump all over that. The public's going to take those favorites no matter what it is. I think they could be even higher. Kansas City could be 14 points at the Panthers.
Yeah, they probably should
like,
be.
You know what? Like exactly, but they're not that high. So the public's all over them. The public's going to win all those bets.
Yeah,
I don't like that. That hurts me. That hurts me.
Yeah, right. But like from my perspective, like that Kansas City game, like all they do is play in close games. I don't care how bad the team is. Yeah, but I also know in the back of my head they should smoke Carolina. That's why I was just stay away from me because I was like.
The only thing with this one, it's that get right where like, all right, we just lost that game. We got to come back and take care of our business. The weather's
Patrick Mahomes
fine.
puts up an MVP performance, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Somehow Buffalo loses to the bye and Jared and Allen drops down a little bit. But anyways, all right, let's get to this trend we were talking about. Did you take any? Did you do your homework?
I did not. I have nothing tonight.
Blake, I sent you the how
I know.
okay. So for the
I know.
I'm gonna play this game and I'll read them off so you can do it real quick here. So Blake and to the people listening here, every week this year in the NCAA, a double-digit dog has won outright. There are games this week, and I gave Blake a homework assignment to look at these games and to pick some. I actually fired on 3 of them. I've got 4 of them marked. Are you ready to hear the games, Blake?
Yes.
Some of them just stink. Like you wouldn't go anywhere near them. Like you got Temple's getting 16.5 at UTSA. Get rid of that one. Here's why we might be watching the Michigan State game. Purdue's getting 13.5 at MSU. All right. MSU stinks. Purdue could actually be one of these games. Northwestern's getting 10.5. Is Michigan going to look past Northwestern to Ohio State?
They can't look past anyone at this point.
Right.
No, hey, Michigan's on its way up. Okay. We got Underwood.
Hey,
everything is right. Everything is okay. I am good.
They got their $10.5 million man. Indiana, the darlings of the NCAA, getting 13.5, as I had marked here. Now it's down to 10. But that's still a double-digit favorite at OSU. Wake Forest, 24.5 at Miami. I don't think so. This is the first one I marked. Florida plus 10 at home versus Ole Miss. I just don't trust Florida's defense. It's the only one I didn't fire on. I don't like Ole Miss defense is for real. And they could have a good game, and then Florida's defense could give up 70.
Spoiler alert, that's on my card.
Oh, I love it. I like
Florida
it.
at the Swamp plus 10.5.
All right, here's the next one. This one I fired on. UConn getting 10.5 at Syracuse. All right, UConn can run the ball, averaging 200 yards a game. The Syracuse's last loss to Boston College, they gave up 313 yards rushing. I think UConn can run the ball on them. They stand a chance. I took them at a plus 320. I think that could be the one. Here's a stinker. This is this SEC schedule now. UMass plus 42 at Georgia. Get out of here. Utah plus 41 at Tennessee. Get out of here. Ball State plus 11.5 Bowling Green. I like Bowling Green. I'm not going there. Arizona plus 11.5 at TCU. Southern Miss 21.5 at South Alabama. Kentucky plus 20.5 at Texas. Minnesota 11.5 at home against Penn State. Stanford Cal. Stanford's getting 14. Another one.
Stanford was an outright winner. By the way, that was on my card last week, and I'm pissed I didn't take it money line. But I mean, they were 19.5 point dogs last week, and now they're 14.5 point dogs this week against. And Cal is not that good.
They're drunk. So here's the second one I took. Troy plus 11.5. I think it's Louisiana Tech, or it might be the Raging Cajuns. I don't know. Plus 90. So Troy is coming off a road win when they were an 8.5 point dog. All right. And Louisiana just lost as 7-point favorites last week. This one's ripe for the picking here. My Troy boy. Here we go. Now here's one that we're going to be picking on the show. I laid some plus 500 on on Army.
Okay.
If Army can dominate the ball possession, I definitely took them with the 14. But if they can dominate it, the thing that if they don't lose to Northern Illinois and address the fact that this is a team that always looks ahead and looks past softer opponents that they should beat. They've addressed that. They've done their job since that game. So I don't think it's going to, but I did lay it on it. This could be one where Army goes into a neutral site, Yankee Stadium, right? And does something. Oregon State plus 12.5 against Washington State. Oklahoma plus 13.5 at Alabama. Blake, any of them stand out that you would money line them? One of them's going to win. I hope 3 of them.
The only one that I like a lot is that Florida one. I don't think they win outright, though. I think they cover. I like the Troy one, actually. They have a new quarterback, and he's playing well. I had that on like third screen for whatever reason last weekend.
It's my Troy team. I think I've taken them 3 times this year. Come on.
I think Indiana has a legitimate shot. I really do.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
I've got interesting.
That's the first game that we're going to talk about when we get into this. But
I've got an interesting stat at the end of that.
Okay. And
so
then
we'll see.
I don't think Minnesota has a chance because Penn State just dominates bad teams, and then they can't.
They
beat
do
good teams.
We made that. I made that comment before. When James Franklin is a favorite, he kills it.
But
It's when
he
he's an
also
underdog.
he also like he's due for a Franklin, as Sean calls it, and on the road at Minnesota is kind of that moment.
It could
So, but I still like I don't think it enough where I would put money on it. But would I
Gotcha.
be shocked when it happens? No, not at all.
So I took those three. I took Army, Troy, and UConn individually. I took them in a 3-team parlay at 100-1 odds.
Oh.
And have you ever done a round robin?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I put them in a round robin. So I have 3 teams, and it's just a mix of 3 different 2-team parlays.
Okay.
So I've got it any other way. So if one wins, like if obviously the best scenario is Army wins and everybody else loses, and I just get my money back is the way I planned it out. But if it comes in, you guys will be the first to know. So I'll go live from my couch as I'm cashing that ticket
with your pants off.
Yes. No, and at least my shirt off. At least my shirt off. You know, eating pizza because pizza tastes better with your shirt off.
I didn't tell you this. Speaking of parlays, real quick, I had a 7 game last week.
I love it.
That this was in the NFL. All my 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. games hit. This was all money line. So the odds are kind of all over the place. But I had Lions, Packers, Vikings, Steelers, Saints. All money line. All those hit. And then I needed Chiefs and Bengals.
Oh, boy.
So I lost the last 2 legs. But I could have cashed out. And I didn't.
Yeah. Well, why would you? The Chiefs, you would if you would have cashed out, it would have been after the Chiefs win or something. Like that I think would have been a good one. And speaking of the New Orleans game, can I just thank Taysom Hill for saving my my day by that last minute touchdown run to go over? I thought I was going to eat both those.
The fact that the Saints have a coach that doesn't look like he's dead on the sidelines anymore, like changes that team completely.
I can't say he looks like he knows what he's doing, but he just doesn't look dead. The guy's a maniac, running around dislocating shoulders while he's punching guys. I don't get it.
All right, you ready?
I am ready. I am juiced for this one. And just wait till after we do these and we get into our account bets, wait for the news that I have to tell you. And I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm going to tell you some news.
I'm very excited.
Very. All right, let's go.
Let's do it. First game, big noon kickoff, which is just ruining college football for everything. Indiana at Ohio State. Ohio State is a 10-point favorite at home. The over-under here is 52.5. Mike?
All right.
Would you be shocked if this is a double for me?
I would not be shocked if this was an Ohio State double for you, baby. Let's go. It's going to be a great game.
I'm taking the Hoosiers. And I'm taking the under 52.5. Okay. I think the way Indiana wins this game is running the ball, controlling the ball, and playing fantastic defense, which I think that they have a chance to do. Because Ohio State just lost they lost their Remington nominee at center. So now they're down 3 offensive linemen.
This is big. That's huge. I believe that's where that line move came in.
So I trust that Indiana defense to make some plays, especially on that D-line, and slow down Ohio State's offense. I don't think you keep them off the board at all, but that is my thought process. And I would love nothing more than the weekend that Michigan gets the number 1 overall recruit in the country, and just that already pissed off Ohio State fans. And you know what they're saying? They're bitching about Michigan spending money. You spent all that money on the roster, and you have 2 losses before the Michigan game.
Okay. They've been spending money. They spent that money on Maurice Claret. Get out of here. What are they talking about? But, so we'll get to this game. This game's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm actually excited. I hate my pick, but it's just the way I got to go with it. when the public looks at this, and we've got to agree with it, these are two evenly matched teams. They really are. Their offenses and their defenses are right there. They're ranked with each other. And the public is just absolutely in love with all the media attention that Indiana's getting. They love Cignetti, and the public hates Ryan Dye. The public hates Ohio State. The public is looking at that Nebraska game and saying Ohio State couldn't do anything with it. And I mean, obviously, I had the under in that game. I know exactly what happened. Indiana absolutely crushed them. The public's running and they're pounding this dog from 13.5 to 10.5. This line move. So that's why it'd be a stay away game for me, because the public's on Indiana and the line's moving that way. So the book kind of agrees with them. I stay away from games like this, but if I have to get into it, I've got to fade that trendy dog. The pros are on this game, and so am I. Give me Ohio State minus the 10 points. I would have taken it at 13.5. They're just giving me more. The injuries worry me 100%, but let's go Buckeyes.
Don't ever say that again.
Here's my stat. Remember I said I had a stat. So here,
yes.
I'm going to question you. If this was James Madison, who's basically who Indiana is, against Ohio State this week, what would the line be?
17.5.
By power ratings, it would be 25.
Okay.
So let's just call a spade, and let's say that's what we're doing. We got Ohio State against the best of James Madison.
Yeah.
I got 15 points of value.
Stig.
I got 15-point value.
That's that Mike closing line value right there.
Magic value.
The next two games I put on the slate this week. It was hard to find 5 games because, like you talked about before we got into this, like the SEC is just playing cupcakes this week.
Oh, awful.
The Big 12, though, both of these games in the Big 12, this one, Colorado and Kansas, and then the next one we're going to talk about, Arizona State, BYU. Basically, these two games decide the Big 12 race or have a big part in it. I saw a stat earlier today in the Big 12. I believe it's a 16-team league or an 18-team. There's 9 teams still alive for the conference title game in the Big 12. But the two favorites are Colorado and BYU, obviously. This game, Colorado is going to Kansas. They're favored by 3 here, and the over-under is 59.5.
Okay. And this is my lead?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm fading another trendy dog here, Blake. Look, I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to call a spade. Every week, I go on here and I call out the public, and I tell them when they're right, but I still going to call out their tendencies and the weaknesses. And Colorado is the public darling. Neon Dion, the people love them. They love Hunter. They love Shador. They love all this. They're getting the majority of bets, the majority of money. The Sharps are all over Kansas. They think that the Kansas team is coming on right now. They just had a huge upset against BYU. But right now, I'm fading myself. Blake, again, I'm going that way. I'm fading myself. I'm walking hand in hand with the public. The first bet, I'm doing a double here, Blake. I'm going with Colorado minus 2.5. I'm doing it. But I come back to my senses. All right. I'm backing with 17% of the bets and only 10% of the money, the sharp reverse line movement, and I'm siding with the books. The books are going to need this game to go under. The total opened 59.5. And why did it move to 59 with only 10% of the money? Why? It's because that sharp money and the books like their line. I like this line. I'm going under 59. Oh, by the way, here's another stat. Do you know what this game reminds me of, Blake? This is almost the spitting image of a couple weeks ago. Me and you had that text thread about the Colorado-Texas Tech game. Colorado came in the public darling. Texas Tech came in with all that sharp money because they just beat Iowa State, right? That was also I turned that game off. Remember, that should have been an under game.
Yeah.
And Colorado wiped their butts. I see this being the same thing, and it's not even at Kansas. It's at Arrowhead. It's at a neutral site.
That's true.
Colorado fans are going to come down. Let's go.
I heard this stat earlier this week. You know, Colorado is the 6th best team ATS this season.
Yeah, I would believe it.
They're incredible
killing
against
it.
the spread. They lost their first 2 games against the spread, one of them being that outright loss to Nebraska, which is crazy to think with where their 2 seasons have gone.
Yeah.
But Nebraska, sorry. Remember how good Nebraska looked in that game too?
Yes.
It was obviously 2 months ago. But Colorado has not lost a game against the spread since then. So that being said,
if you think about it, if we were to go back and study all those lines, I would bet all those lines also moved like it's moving towards Kansas. Those lines move towards Texas Tech. People don't have faith in Colorado, and they're the public darling. All the sharp money's going the other way. All that sharp movement's going the other way. So their lines, they're killing people, and their lines aren't that big. Look at this. I got them at 2.5. It says 3 here. In my account, I've got them at 2.5. So it's 3 here, but my account, I actually took that bet at 2.5.
Yeah. So I also have Colorado, but I have the over. I think, especially with what we were talking about earlier with Travis Hunter, they want to pad some stats for him.
Mm-hmm.
They Shador is going to put up some numbers. And Kansas's offense has looked good actually in the recent couple weeks. So I think that both of these teams will put up some points, 59.5. I know it's a high number, but I will take the over on.
But it's Colorado. It can't be too high. This isn't my hot take, but it is my take, is that Travis Hunter, he's great. So don't take this like I'm ripping on this kid. He is great, but he's one of the more overrated Heisman candidates we've had in a while. The touchdowns he gets in when the game's over, he's intercepting balls that are tipped, and you would think that he's Woodson, and he's not Woodson. He's good. He's a good player. He's playing 9 million snaps. I get that. Genty is not getting enough attention because of all the attention that Hunter is getting, and look at they're taking Hunter and everything he does and blowing it away. Every time you talk about Genty, they're comparing him to the greatest running back ever in college football, Barry Sanders. Yeah. Stop it.
I just think
this guy's having a great year.
The fact that Hunter playing all those plays, and he's legitimately, I would argue in college football, a top 10 wide receiver. And then I would argue in college football right now, he's probably a top 5 corner. Like, he's just and the fact that he's doing it while playing every play. It's crazy.
I agree, but it's
like
not
statistically, I don't disagree with you. Like, he's not his stats are great, but they're not like, oh my God, Heisman stats.
But that's what he's getting the attention wise.
Both ways.
It's not like whenever they talk about you can't say Genty without saying Sanders. If you can't do that, don't say Hunter without saying Woodson.
Yeah.
He can't even sniff Woodson's jock. I mean, it's not even close. So come on.
Well, there's a lot of people that say Woodson shouldn't have even won the Heisman. I disagree.
Well, that's because that's back in the day when defense shouldn't get it. They've got their own awards, kind of thing. So, but anyways, I went on a tangent there. Hunter's a nice player.
Todd put his hand up when I said that. By the way, Todd, we'll talk after the show. All right.
It was me doing the catch.
Okay. I thought you were saying me. I'm one of those people. I was ready to throw hands. I forgot that I was going to say, are you a big Peyton Manning guy?
No.
And when Genty goes for 404 touchdowns, I think it's against Wyoming this weekend. I hope he does the Heisman pose every time. Stop it, Hunter. Stop it.
Yeah.
All right.
On to the next one. Another Big 12 matchup that, I mean, both of these teams are right in the heat. Basically, the winner of this game is favored to go to the Big 12 championship. I know that there's still another week left of Big 12 chaos. BYU's going to Arizona State. BYU coming off of that loss from last week. The Arizona State is favored by 3. Arizona State is like the story of college football this season, I would argue. The fact that how bad they were, and especially like all the sanctions on that program, everything that they've been through, and they're a 2-loss team right now.
They did a you know how the conferences rank stuff, like the conference media comes out and ranks the coaches and everything. They were ranked dead last in coaching and dead last in the Big 12. And this has basically been a big middle finger campaign for them. And this is a great story. I don't know if it ends here, but this is a great story.
They're running back too, Scatabo. Like, he's fantastic. He's awesome. I think he's a white guy too. White running back alert.
Oh, watch out. Now you got him not drafted. That's all you did.
Arizona State's favored by 3. Over under here is 45.5. I will go first. I just got 1 on this game. Just 1. I got Arizona State -3. I think BYU played in so many close games all season long, and they finally got. So,
what did we just get there? Ooh,
Todd,
beautiful tree. I'm drifting through the forest.
I don't know
the
what
redwoods.
Happened.
It's the redwoods. I'm taking the redwoods -5.
So yeah, I have Arizona State -3 against BYU.
All right. When we get back there, if I were to take a side, I'd be leaning with the Sharps and the BYU. They moved it from 4 to 3. There's some sharp money there, but I don't think BYU is good at anything. They're just decent at everything. So when I'm looking at this game, this is one of those easy math problems for the public, Blake. They're looking at this and they see two teams that love scoring. They're scoring at an average of 62 points a game. Math, 62 greater than 48.5. They think that this is going to be an over, especially with two defenses that aren't that good. However, despite a majority of bets and money thinking that math is easy and over, this total opened 49 and it's dropped down as low as 48. It's stuck at 48.5. I'm siding with the sharp reverse line movement, and I'm taking under 48.5.
I like it.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, and when I was looking at this game, I was like I was leaning under for sure. But I really like Arizona State in this spot. So
I like their story.
I agree with your pick wholeheartedly. And I'll probably end up betting that as well, just to ride with you.
And see, and again,
is this one that's in your account too?
No, it's not, because it had a double move in it where it went down and came back up. And when I get two sharp sides fighting each other, I stay away. I like one-way movement as much as I can.
Okay. On to the next one. Penn State is going to Minnesota. They are favored. Penn State is favored by 11.5. Over under here is 45.5. Mike, you go ahead first on this one.
All right. This is more easy math, Blake. These two teams are averaging 60 points a game. That is a lot more than 45.5. The math tells the public this is going to be an easy over, and a majority of bets and a majority over money are also on this one. But this line opened at 46. It's been as low as 45. It's back up to 45.5, and it's kind of staying there. But with a majority of money and a majority of bets, this game, it should be going up, right? It's not coming down. It's because of the sharp reverse line movement, and I'm on the under on this one too, 45.5. I think row the boat's going to keep this one close. If I had to take a side, I'd take Minnesota, but I just didn't like the way it was going.
I have the under here too. I 100% agree with everything you said about Minnesota slowing the game down. Penn State, I think they also need to get their running game figured out, and this is a great opportunity for them to do that. Maybe don't use Tyler Warren every other play. Use your two great running backs that you have. So, run the ball, get out of there with a win. Penn State, I think the game will be tight because of the under. I could see Penn State covering, a late score, like a 24-10 type game, something like that. Like an NFL type score.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, I can see that.
But I definitely love the under in this game.
Yeah.
And last but not least, probably the biggest game of the week.
Yeah.
I would say outside of that Indiana-Ohio State game, obviously, is Army at Notre Dame. Technically, it's at Notre Dame, but I believe this game is at Yankee Stadium.
Yep, Yankee Stadium.
So, neutral site. This is one of those shamrock series games that Notre Dame does. So they're wearing fancy, ugly uniforms. Notre Dame's 14-point favorites, and the over-under here is 45.5. As much as I would love to, if I was picking this with my heart, not my head.
Yeah. You would go Service Academy. You would.
I would. I love America. I do. We saw this. I picked Navy earlier in the year.
Yes. Same here.
Against Notre Dame, and they got smoked.
Yep.
I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I think athletically, Notre Dame is on a completely different level. And Notre Dame is not one of these teams that, like, when Michigan is playing a service academy or Ohio State's playing a service academy, or Notre Dame sees these teams every year. They're used to facing the triple defensively.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of these other teams.
Same schedule every year.
So, that being said, I'm going to take Notre Dame minus the 14. I would love to see Army pull the upset. I would love to see Army playing their way, because I truly believe they win this game, they're probably going to the playoff.
So, 100%. They're playing for their playoff life, which does well for your bet here. But I can't do it. Look, the public is all over this Notre Dame team. And rightfully so. They have absolutely handled their business since that ugly loss to Northern Illinois, as we had talked about before. No more does this team look at every year. Notre Dame has that loss where they look ahead, they look past an opponent. They're not doing that anymore. The public sees Notre Dame destroying Navy, and they think that's going to be the same kind of cakewalk. However, at most books, a majority of the money and bets are on Notre Dame. But in all books, Blake, in all books, the sharps are all over Army. They're taking that line from 16.5 when it opened all the way down to 14. My hope is that Notre Dame goes to bed tonight before the game, and they're dreaming of going to USC and playing USC, and they look at this 9-0 Army team. Let's go, America. Army's going to dominate the time of possession. Give me those points and give me Army.
I will.
Bam!
I hope you win. I really do. Because I would love to see Notre Dame knocked out of the playoff race.
And just remember, I also have some pizza money on Army money line plus 500, baby. Let's go.
I love it. All right. I have a shocker, Mike. So before the show, we talked about my lack of NFL picks.
Yeah.
I have a lot of college picks. So
I have some of my most too. Look at this. 2 pages.
I have 11.
I think I'm at 11 too.
So I'll fire.
So go. Let's hear it, baby.
Michigan minus 10.5 against Northwestern.
Okay.
Bryce Underwood bump. That's all I have. That's it. Northwestern's just really bad. And Michigan.
You put $10.5 million on Michigan. I get it.
10.5 point spread. It's perfect.
I love it.
Tonight's game, which I think already kicked off actually. Michigan State Purdue over 47.5. I liked that a lot. I don't know what the score is at right now. I'm going to check.
I got
10-3. 10-3.
There you go.
Illinois +2 at Rutgers. How is Rutgers favored? That doesn't make any sense. That line stinks.
There you go. Stinky line. Sometimes it looks
a stinky line, and it's telling me that I should be taking Rutgers, and I'm going the opposite. I think Illinois is the better team. We talked about this game earlier. Florida +12.5 against Ole Miss. Nice. I love that. I love that play. I love it, love it, love it. Wisconsin at Nebraska under 43. I think Wisconsin defensively will show up. Nebraska defensively is good, and both these offenses stink. So under 43 there. This one, I do have the one thing that's dependent on it. So I have not bet it yet. I would not suggest betting on it yet unless you really like the number no matter what. Pitt +8.5 at Louisville. Right now, the Pitt quarterback is questionable. Eli Holstein. If he
Okay.
does not play, I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole. And I truly believe this line is indicating he's not playing.
Yes, that's what it would tell me. Yeah, I agree with you.
But I think it's like a 50-50 shot if he does play. So if you like the 8.5, take it now. If he doesn't play, though, don't plan on that being a winner. That's just my opinion.
And we talked about this earlier in the year. I think it was a Notre Dame game. We didn't know if the quarterback was going to play or who was going to play. We were watching that line, and we always say, if you want to know if he's playing or not playing, watch that line. The Sharps know. They've got their insider. So if that line is truly sitting out there and the books haven't brought it back, he's leaning not playing right now.
Yep. Auburn plus 2.5 against Texas A&M. I think A&M is looking ahead. I know their coach said he's
big
not,
game coming up,
and then he said the wrong team name. He was like, "We're focused on Texas." I mean, Auburn. He literally said that. Like their game next week is huge because next week's game, Texas A&M, that decides who goes to the SEC championship game.
More than that, that could knock Texas out of the playoff. They do not have the resume.
I know.
They lose that game. You look at make or not make. I mean, there you put money on. You could probably get like 9-1 odds that Texas doesn't make the playoffs. They lose that game to Texas A&M. That bet is live. Now, do I think brand name gets them in? Absolutely. But should they get in with a loss in that game? They should not get in.
I don't know if I agree.
That's okay.
I would have to think about it more.
Yeah,
but
when you think about it and lay out the teams that are there and do it by resume, they haven't beat anybody.
I think,
and they got their butt wiped at home by Georgia.
That Big 12 is only going to get one in. The ACC should only get one in. And in those two cases, like there's just going to be so many open spots. Outside of Indiana, Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten, no one deserves to be in. Yeah. And I still think
get so many SEC teams in that are going to have two losses.
There's going to be 5.
There you go. One's got to go out. So
unless, Florida.
We'll see. We'll see as that gets closer. We'll have a playoff talk when it gets closer.
Bama minus 13.5 at Oklahoma. Oklahoma stinks. They're horrible.
Okay.
So that's why on that one. Vandy plus 7.5 at LSU. Opposite of the Bryce Underwood bump.
Yes.
Brian Kelly stinks.
Brian Kelly bump.
I can't wait for him to get fired. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be such a big LSU fan again.
It's coming.
Cincy plus 9.5 at K-State. Cincy's just been playing good football.
That one a lot.
They've been playing good, and that's a lot of points in the Big 12. A lot of points.
And that was a game that was on my radar until I had too many and I had to shut it off. I had to cut it off at some point, but I love that bet.
And then last but not least, USC at UCLA, battle for the victory bell out there. Give me the under in that one, 51.5.
All right. So the news I had, Blake, like if it wasn't tough enough for me to go through all the numbers that I look at, I added another data point to my process.
Vibes.
So to make to make it short and simple, I now look at data from what would be considered a public book. Gets a lot of public money. And what I added in was a secondary check of my numbers. I look at now a sharp book, a book that is considered to be one of the sharpest out in Vegas. And I look at their numbers and see where their monies and lines go. I tested it out this week. It didn't really impact my lines, but I laid it out this morning for the Friday lines to see where I'm at. And I actually wasn't as bad as I thought I was compared to where the sharp money is in this sharp book. But I had to complement it. I had to complicate things a little bit. And I want you to listen. I'm going to go through this real fast. I'm not going to do my regular rigmarole, but I'm going to mention a couple of things. I think every team I bet on is on at least a 2-game losing streak. It's not good. That's not good. That's not good, Blake. That's not good. All right. I'm going to start with
the one I want you to know, and I'm going to walk away if you have this team. So I'm going to step out of this room.
And I think I know who you're going, and I got him. I know where you're going. Are you going Gundy?
Yeah, if you have that game,
I got him. I've got him.
My God, they're so bad.
They're awful. They're on
They
an 8-game
quit.
losing streak. They're the worst team in the NCAA. I got them. I've got them, Blake. But here we go. I'm going to start nicely for Blake. I'm not going there. I've got Liberty in the Western Kentucky game. I've got Liberty plus 1.5. This line is now Liberty minus 1.5. I got it early because the sharps were on it. Obviously, we know where that line moved, right?
I liked Western Kentucky plus 1.5, but I left it off.
Which would be good. Like I said,
No.
That line
you're getting good value there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you got a majority of the bets, so I've got the public out of my way. So the next game is the New Mexico State, Middle Tennessee State game. The home team had a recent upset win of UTEP, which is Middle Tennessee State. They're playing New Mexico State. They're coming off 3 bad losses. This is a trend that I'm betting on. All right. 60% of the bets are on Middle Tennessee State, but this line opened 4.5, moved to 3.5. I got New Mexico State plus 3.5. I have in the UCF Virginia game, I've got UCF minus 3 over West Virginia. You got West Virginia's had 2 nice wins in the last 3 weeks. UCF has 1 win in the last 7 weeks, and I'm taking them minus money, Blake. How is this happening? This is happening because 66% of the bets are on West Virginia, but this line moved from -1 to -3. Reverse line movement, I'm going to take it. And here's Blake's favorite, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, baby, right? I've got Oklahoma State plus 4. Texas Tech, they still remember them beating Iowa State. Oklahoma State has lost 7 in a row.
So bad.
7 in a row. But 80% of the bets, a majority of the money is on Texas Tech. But this line opened up at 5.5. I've seen it as low as 3. I've got it at plus 4. Take that reverse line movement. I'm getting some booty. I'm going to general booty. I've got them. The public sees Arkansas State at home. They've won 3 of the last 4. And guess what? ULM's on 4-game losing streak. So I'm taking them because 77% of the bets are on Arkansas State, thinking that ULM's going to lose again. But this line has moved from 3. It opened at 5. I've seen it as low as 2.5. I've got it at 3.5. I'm going back to the well here again. I bet against Washington State last week. I'm doing it again this week. I got Oregon State plus 12.5. Again, this is easy. The public sees an 8-2. They're still ranked number 25. Washington State. They're playing a horrible Oregon State team with, here we go, follow the trend, 5 straight losses. However, despite 82% of the bets and majority of the money, this line opened up at 12.5, which I have it at. It hasn't moved. It's still at 12.5. That line should be moving. Sharp money's on there. I think this one's another dog to fave, baby. Old Dominion against Marshall. I'm going to get my payback on Marshall from last week's beat down at Coastal Carolina. Marshall has won 4 straight games. They got a better record. And oh, wait, Old Dominion has lost 2 straight games. How are they favored? 54% of the bets. This line opened up at Old Dominion getting 2.5. It's been as high as -2.5. I got Old Dominion -2. And then late night, because I need some late night buyback, Fresno State, Colorado State. Are they on a losing streak? Colorado State's won 5 in a row. People are loving them. Oh, yeah. Fresno State has lost 2 straight games, yet they're -3. The majority of the bets, 55% of the bets are on Colorado State. This line opened Fresno -1. It moved up to -3. I'm going to take that reverse line movement. And Blake, there's another 11 games. Let's go.
Real quick.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any numbers on the UNLV San Jose State game tonight? Because I'm just shocked that you don't. I'm just shocked you don't have San Jose.
Okay, so I was looking at the San Jose State, and that just like what was the other game? That one game you took, I said I was looking at. I liked it, but I've got 11 in my account. I told you I think I needed someone to come take my phone from me. But let's see where we're at here with that. It's going to be tonight.
Yeah, it's a 10 o'clock kick.
Yeah, it's one that's 40% of the bets, 45% of the money. So the public is on UNLV minus the 7.5. And then do you know what that line opened at?
No.
Because I know I had them. I had it marked. But what my dream is for this game, because of an evil plan, I want UNLV to win by 1 point so that they don't get any pub going into the Boise State championship game, and Boise State's favored by a ton, and I'm going to take UNLV to win outright at Allegiant Stadium. That's what I would like to. Yeah, that game's in Vegas. That championship game's in Vegas, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, I want Boise in the playoff really bad.
Well, they can win. They just can't cover.
Okay.
Good teams win. Great teams cover. Blake, let's go.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Go. Let's start the NFL show bets. I'll have that.
Yeah.
I'll have these numbers in a second.
Perfect. All right, so first game in the NFL. Lions at Colts. Lions are favored by 7. The over-under here is 50.5. I will make this simple. The Lions are an over team. I don't care who they're playing. I'm taking the over every time. And I'm also just taking the Lions because I think the Colts stink. Detroit in the over here. Book it, both of them, parlay them, do the whole thing. I'm sure you disagree with me numbers-wise. I don't
100%.
care. This is
That's okay.
This is Lions are an over team. Until they are not an over team, they're an over team.
Well, so first of all, San Jose State, UNLV opened 7.5, and it's now a battle between 7.5, but it hasn't budged off that. So that would be a game I would be on San Jose State if I had any room in my account left. But under this Lions game, the public sees an average of 37 points in its last 5 games. Again, the Lions averaging that, going up against a defense, an average defense in the dome. This is an easy over for the Lions, right? 70% of the bets are on this over. This total opened 50.5. It remains 50.5. This is a sharp money line freeze. I'm taking under 50.5 because I agree with it. And for them being an over team, they're 5-5 on the year, Blake. 5-5 to the over on the break. The Colts are
bias.
And the Colts are 6-5 to the under. Yeah, recency bias on you. They scored 52 points themselves. This has got to be an easy
exactly.
I love it.
Another game between 2 NFC North teams here.
Yep.
The Bears and the Vikings. Minnesota is going to Chicago. Minnesota is favored on the road by 3.5. This over-under is a gross number, 39.5.
Yep.
Mike, you go ahead on this one.
So if it's a gross 39, you know where I'm going before I read any of this. Like the public sees the Vikings with a better record, better offense, better defense. The Bears team that seems to be quitting on Eberflus, even though they're staying in some games. I'd be really interested to see what this line actually would be if it wasn't for a Hail Mary and a blocked field goal. They win those 2 games. I think this line might be reversed. So if they're not quitting on them, I'm going to go with 70% of the bets are on the Vikings. However, this line opened up at, I believe, 4.5, and it's dropped to the Bears side at 3.5. I'm siding with that, and I'm also doing a double here, Blake. I'm going to this over-under. The public sees 2 teams scoring 44 points. They do the math. They think that's greater than 40. This game's got to go over. 75% of the bets are on the over, but it opened at 40.5. It's dropped down to 39. It's been up to 39.5. I have it at 40 in my account, actually. But I'm going to take this reverse line movement. And why might this be important? There could be 20-mile-an-hour winds in the forecast. So look
I like
out.
it.
Yeah. So
I'm on Chicago with you. I agree. I like how you call him. What did you call
Eberflus?
Eberflus. I call him Dweeberflus.
Same
he's
thing.
A dweeb.
He's awful.
But yeah, Chicago's offense looked better last week. The way that they were just scheming stuff for Caleb to get the ball out of his hands quick.
Yep.
Which
he has to. His line's awful.
Yeah, exactly. But why haven't they been doing that all year?
Eberflus.
No, that offensive coordinator stunk.
Yeah, and they got rid of him, so they got a new guy in there.
Yep, but Minnesota just has looked shaky the last couple of weeks. I think they're still a really good team, but Chicago at home, give me 3.5. I think it'll be a field goal game. So,
I mean, just in a quick snippet, I mean, if you go over the last 3 weeks, I think Chicago deserves to win more of those games than Minnesota does. They just happen to have lost them.
Yeah, that's true. Next game, another NFC North team playing the San Francisco 49ers. And breaking news earlier today, Purdy's out. I think Bosa's
he's out.
out.
I
Yeah,
love
he's
my
out.
bet even more. I love my bet even more.
He's out. He's not playing. That's why the line, because when I texted this last night, it was at 3. It might have moved more. That's what I was looking.
And I figured.
Oh, yeah, now
was.
Todd, you don't have to update this because you already updated it once. Don't touch anything. It's now 5.5.
Wow.
It went so since last night, and then the news happened. It went from 3.5 to 5.5.
Yeah, that total dropped at least 1.5 with the shoulder soreness and sitting out and stuff. So I wonder if that's moved anymore. But go ahead. Is this me or you?
It's 44.5. It was
44.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna take my pick. I did not change it.
He changed that lines.
He did. I'm taking the Niners. I liked it at 3. I know with Purdy out, whatever. I just don't think Jordan Love's gonna throw a pick.
Is it
something stupid?
Is Dobbs playing? Is that who's their quarterback? Josh Dobbs?
No, their backup is Allen. No, Allen.
Oh God, Lord in heaven!
Yeah,
you can't make that under low enough.
It doesn't matter. The Shanahan offense, they will figure it out.
You can't Shanahan no talent though.
You can when you have Christian McCaffrey back.
He doesn't look right. Come on, he doesn't look right. His numbers are so down, and now they're just going to key right on him because the quarterback can't throw the ball. All right, look, we had at 46. This is 100%,
but this is a game that Green Bay would lose.
I would love to see this as a 2 healthy teams, but we're just not going to get it. But that's all right. So when I did this write up, it was at 4. We had it at 46.5. But the public's using math again. 50 points a game they average. That's more than 46.5. They have also gone over this number, both these teams, in 8 of their last 10 games. However, despite 60% of the bets on the over, and that was at 46 to 48, wherever it was at, this total had opened up at 48.5. It bottomed to 47, 46. Obviously, now it's at 44. I'm going to take the under because of the reverse line movement, even with it being at 44.5 and losing some. I don't like the way Jordan Love and Green Bay's offense looks either. And this is a broken San Francisco defense. Usually when I call something broken, they get fired up. This game's going over by 1 million points, so give me the under.
I thought about changing my pick. I was like, no, I still am gonna ride with San Fran. I don't know why. I hate everything about this game. It's gross.
Yeah.
Eagles at Rams Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
The Eagles are favored by 3 on the road, and the over-under here is 48.5. Mike, you go ahead and go first.
I think this is another one that was very easy for the public to choose who to pick here. You look at this real quick on the top here. You got the better records with the Eagles, the better offense with the Eagles, the better defenses with the Eagles. They think they're going to easily. They don't think they have easily won 6 in a row. I mean, they're stomping people right now. However, despite a majority of bets and money on the Eagles, this line opened up at 2.5, and it's really been a 2.5, 3. Every time it hits 3, it gets bought back down to the Rams. It's not going over that. So that tells me the books really like it. They're not going to let it to get to 3.5 because they know they would eat that hook up just as fast. So I'm siding with the books. I'm sharding with the sharding. Look at me again. And siding with the sharps with the Rams. I think the Rams are getting healthy. They're getting their line back. Matthew Stafford looks good. Both receivers look good. A good running back. And their defense is playing well. I'll take the 3 points.
I hope I'm wrong here because do you remember what the one future is I put in before the season?
You had the Rams to win the Super Bowl, 30-1, right?
Yep. So I would love the Rams to get hot and just make the playoffs so I can cash out.
I can see
Like,
it.
just
Look.
make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're playing well. They've got the team. This is the team you bet on now. This really is. I mean, the only thing is the Eagles are just a train right now, and they're coming. They're playing well, but I mean, Sirianni's got to go Sirianni at some point. Just like Franklin's going to go Franklin, Sirianni's going to go Sirianni. I don't know, but go ahead, make your pick.
I have the Eagles minus the 3.
Yeah,
Yep. I don't love it. I really don't. If I like total wise, I would lean under here too. But
I thought that was a big number. I think these defenses are going to be real stiff.
Yeah. Last but not least, the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yep.
Baltimore at the Chargers. Baltimore is favored by 2.5 on the road, which is crazy to me after the week that they just came off of, but whatever, it is what it is. Over under here is 50.5. So with all that being said, I'm taking the Chargers plus the 2.5, and I'm also going to take the under.
All right.
I love it.
Yeah, it's this is one that like you look at it and you see Baltimore's. It's one of these. Baltimore's offense is that good. The Chargers' offense is that good, and Baltimore's defense is that bad that you got to love the over. So you might as well go under, right, Blake? I like it. 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 All right. So
Herbert's been playing so good lately too. Like he really has. He's been playing out of his mind.
He's healthy. He's getting healthy, and he's protected by a coach that runs the ball and knows how to protect him. Again, this is another one. Imagine Harbaugh coaching that Cincinnati team. They'd be undefeated.
Imagine Harbaugh coaching
and Joe Mixon would still
team.
be there. I don't know if they'd be undefeated. Those quarterbacks are awful.
I don't think that those would have been the quarterbacks either. But.
Yeah, this is true. This is going to be a great game to watch, so why not? Let's ruin it with a bet. Not only a bet for this show, but I have this in my account. See, I love the Chargers. I think the Chargers defense is going to shut down Baltimore's overrated offense. I think the Chargers offense are going to dominate bad Baltimore defense. I think these brothers know each other so well, you should take the points in this game, right? However, I'm fading myself, and I'm hoping the pros and Joes are correct. I've got 71% of the bets, which is way too public for me, but 95% of the money. That's a good, sharp spread. Someone laid some money on these Ravens, and if you're going to give them to me at 2.5, I love it. I have them at 2.5 in my account, and I'm going for it. So give me Baltimore. This is the game. Like when I look at this game, at the end of this game, you're going to know, are the Chargers for real? Because nobody really knows. This line tells me there's no respect here. And then, are the Ravens finished? A lot of people are saying that the Ravens are finished. They're done. They've been calling it a long time. And they better hope this game's not close in the fourth, because they love choking away games in the fourth, and they're going to blow this bet. I know it. But Baltimore minus 2.5. Go ahead.
Real quick. The reason why I don't hate your side is the Chargers are starting 2 rookies at corner. And Baltimore, as not good as their receivers are, they're not as bad as we've seen them in years past. Like Flowers is obviously good. Bateman's having a good year. Who did they trade for too? They traded for someone. It's like totally slipping my Deontay Johnson, right?
Yep.
From Carolina. Yep. So like they have good receivers. So that's the only thing is 2 young rookie corners for the Chargers who have been playing really well, but they could be susceptible.
But yeah, and here's the thing: I'm going to shit on my own bet is that the only reason that Baltimore hasn't lost more is I think. Now I just lost. Derrick Henry caught people off guard. They thought Derrick Henry was dead, and Derrick Henry came out like he was 30 years younger than he actually is, like he was in high school. It was an absolute beast. So that opened up stuff for Lamar to be all right. That's not happening now. He's getting shut down. They're shutting their run down, and Lamar's out there just whipping balls all over. But I just don't think it's going to work against the San Diego team. That's why I took Baltimore.
I have to look this up too because this is a J.K. Dobbins revenge game. I have to look up what he is to score a touchdown.
Ooh,
Obviously,
yeah.
former Raven. Now I'm going to look that up right now.
He's up there for comeback player of the year too.
Oh yeah, has to be. Okay. Pearsall wasn't in the league last year, but he got shot and played this year. So he has to be it, right? Or can he not be because he's a rookie?
No, he can be. They redefined the award. It's very confusing right now because I would love to jump on DeMar Hamlin. And he's at about 15-1. That guy died. All right. How he didn't get the award last year. Yeah. Flacco came off a couch, but he died and came back to life and ended up playing football. But it's if you have an injury that causes you to miss time is like the biggest thing.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall got shot.
Yeah. He had gunshots in his chest to start his season. So he definitely should be in there. But so is Kirk Cousins. I'm trying to think of there's another, I think, quarterback that's up there in that award.
Rodgers.
No, he stinks. You have to be
know,
good.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, J.K. Dobbins is minus 205 to score a touchdown, so don't touch that with 10.
No, that's not. No, you'd have to go 2. You'd have to go 2 to make or parlay it with something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get these account bets in here.
Go for it.
All right.
I only got one, so I'll wait.
Yeah, this is true. I already lost on my under 39.5 bet on Thursday, which was crap. But anyways, for the show, I talked about Lions and Indy. I've got the Bears. I've got the Ravens. I have. I'm going to the Cowboys and Commanders total. The public loves them. Some Jaden Daniels and the number 4 offense. They think they might go over themselves against a Cowboys team that is absolutely quit. They're absolutely dog doo-doo. And I think they're even worse because I think Trey Lance is going to start getting some snaps. And that guy he shouldn't even be on a roster. They think this is an easy over. 52% of the bets are on the over. It opened up at 46. It's been as low as 44.5. I grabbed it early because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, how do they score 46 points in this game unless Washington scores 46 points? I don't see it at all. My fear is this looks like the Jaguars-Lions game. This very well could be. The good news is I heard some guys talking on the radio. They don't think Jaden Daniels is 100%. They think he's struggling with the rib injury that he had that could cause.
He hasn't looked the same since that game.
100%. Well, I mean, look what's going on right now. You look at where Bo Nix is in the Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's not close to catching. So I think Jaden Daniels, don't do that. Is minus 400.
I hate Bo Nix so much.
But look, as much as
you know how much money I've lost because of Bo Nix.
All right, so now it makes sense. You can't deny what the guy's doing, and they're starting to open up that offense to him. He's looking nice. So with that said, Denver will get their ass kicked this weekend. But anyways, I've only got one more. Shockingly enough, everything's actually I usually don't have that many show bets. Most of mine are in the show. I'm going to the Seahawks, and the Cardinals total. The public sees the Cardinals scoring 31, 29, and 28 points the last 3 games themselves. The Seahawks team, they could score and they can give them up too. They give up some points at the time. This is going to fly over. However, despite 56% of the bets on the over, this total opened at 48. It's moved down to 47.5. Last I checked, it was at 47.5. I'm taking the reverse sharp line movement. I've got it at 48. I would still take it at 47.5. I don't see how this game gets there. They're just two average teams.
Yeah.
Bad 100%. NFL slate. Good game to go to. Good Sunday to go to Bronnersburg. Like,
I didn't end up going last week, by the way. I was so
I know
happy.
It was beautiful. I
texted
beautiful.
you guys. I was so happy.
Yep.
Don't tell my wife that, but I was like, oh damn, that's a real shame that we're not gonna go.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I was supposed to go to the Wayne State game. I ended up not going too, so it was great. It was
nice.
Sofa City, sweetheart.
Is there a better feeling than canceling plans? because I'd argue there's nothing better.
Not on a Saturday or Sunday. Not on a
Just in
football
general,
Saturday,
I
Sunday.
love it. I love it so much. Just getting out of stuff. Oh, it's the best.
It's like a game.
And soon I'm gonna have a great excuse.
Yes, you are. You'll have the ultimate. You'll have the ultimate excuse. I've got no
sorry.
excuses. I've got no excuses left. I got to work hard.
I only have one NFL pick.
It's a stinky slate.
It's a game you talked about. I have the Commanders minus 10.5 against the Cowboys. The Cowboys stink.
Yeah.
Monday night I took the Texans. I didn't even watch the game. I was like, I have better things to do with my time. And I turned it on right in the fourth quarter. Saw the Texans were up by like 20. I was like, this is good. Automatic winner. I had it at 7.5. It was plus 100.
Wow.
So I was like, this is fantastic. Easy money.
Yeah. It's one where in all the podcasts I listened to, they were waiting for this. They couldn't believe it wasn't at 12, 13, 14, like they just climbing up, which just this is where in games like this, I've got to contain myself. And this is where like there's teams I can't bet on. Like the sharps are on them just because of a number. They don't care who they're throwing. They could throw Staubach's corpse out there as quarterback, and they're going to take that 10.5, right? And you've got to be able to discern the difference between these guys that are just throwing money on a number and they don't care, which a lot of times you see me. I don't know who the quarterback of a team is. I'll do it. But you have to be able to say, you have to be able to put a reason to taking them at 10.5.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no pathway to me taking that 10.5. No. I don't know if I would take it at 14.
Sharps are wrong 40% of the time, Mike.
Yeah. And this would be one. Yeah. It's math. Look at you, math guy. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it.
It's part of my new job.
I love it.
All right. Real quick, before do you have something? I was going to give some programming notes.
Oh, I was going to say, you know what I did this week? I don't know if you listened to me and Sean talking NHL hockey. I have 6 NHL futures put in.
Oh, what do we got?
We have, I went to the MVP race in the Stanley Cup, and kind of like the Jared Goff bet, I'm trying to get myself some value. I'm trying to find numbers on guys that are going to get low enough so I can start grabbing guys that are favored at the end of the year, right? Just like I'm doing with the Mahomes Allen thing. So I took at, oh God, I wish I had the number. I think it was 40-1 odds. I've got Leon Draisaitl. And at 40-1 odds, it's 40-1. And 40-1 odds, I took Jack Eichel. And both of those can be found as low as 25-1 already at other books. So I loved that. Then I took a bunch of long shots for Stanley Cup. The longest one is the Predators. I think I got them at about 42-1. I really like the team that they have. I'm hoping they fire their coach, get a guy that can get them to play some hockey. I took Washington at 40-1 before the Ovechkin injury.
Okay.
So it's going to see what kind of team they are. I have the Kings.
And he's done for what? 4 to
6 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
6 to 8 weeks, I think.
Oh, okay.
Broken fibula. I went back after the show and took the Kings at 35-1. I believe they're up there in the West. And then the last one I believe I might have jumped on the Bruins when I came back I liked the way they looked after they fired their coach. I think they're playing a little bit more fired up, and I got them at about 35-1. So I'm looking at these teams to try to make a move, make the playoffs, and let's see what I can get. I like to be able to work it to where I have all 4 teams in the semifinals at a winning bet.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So I started again.
I'm just trying to not do anything with Feast Week. That's where my mind's at right now. This is like, because I'll start getting into college basketball like once college football's over. Because I enjoy college basketball, not nearly as much as college football or the NFL, but I like it, especially March Madness, obviously.
March Madness is crazy.
But, I mean, this time of the year is like a mini. Like, because Feast Week, there's college basketball games tipping off at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
I don't touch college basketball till the tournament. I'm not invested enough.
Feast Week is tough. Beast Week is tough.
Be strong, my friend. Be strong.
11 a.m. in Miami or Maui or whatever the hell it is, or the Battle for Atlantis. It's just it's hilarious. They're like Battle for Atlantis. You're watching a college basketball game that's played in literally a ballroom.
Yes,
it's so funny.
I used to love. It stinks. I used to love college basketball when you would get the 4-year players in there and you could really get into a team. And I just can't do it anymore.
Now with the portal, people bitch about the portal in college football. You think it's bad there? College basketball, it's a million times worse.
Well,
every roster completely flips every season.
But when you're looking at it, you're deciding what's good and what's bad. The portal and NIL has been good for college football. It's made it made a good product better. Hasn't done that for basketball yet. It just hasn't done it. It's just made it sloppy. Guys that are going to leave, and they're going to leave early.
Yep. So real quick, couple programming notes for next week's show. We're going on Wednesday. It'll probably be around 4:00.
Beautiful.
Because that evening, you have a show with, or do you have a show, Sean, Tuesday?
Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Yeah, we're talking about doing What the Puck Tuesday, because Wednesday we're broadcasting the Brother DC game,
which will be a banger, I'm sure.
Oh, it will be. If you don't know anything about high school hockey, if you love high school hockey, if you hate Catholic Central, if you hate Brother Rice, go to this game. It is one of the better environments you'll be in. The student sections rock. They sing. It's a great environment. I highly tell anyone to go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Highly recommend.
So yeah, we'll be going Wednesday around 4. So we'll have more picks, for you in a shorter amount of time. We're back in 5 days.
And then I won't be as mad at myself when I take 15 picks on Monday. I'll be like, I have to take 15 picks.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, hopefully you have a good week and just the account's loaded up and you're ready to go.
I hope so. As I was searching for to see what, and it was the Boston Bruins at 30-1. I had to make sure that's what it was. I loaded up my one account and it had 21 bets waiting, and the other one had 20 bets waiting. I'm like, this is going to be great.
I love it. And then the week after so for the Thanksgiving week slate, we're going to pick all 3 of the Thanksgiving games.
Yep.
And then we'll also do normal picks and I'll probably work in maybe for that Thanksgiving slate, because I think the Egg Bowl is that Thursday too. So maybe we'll do a screen with Thanksgiving games, including college, college and NFL. I'll look at the slate and I'll get it to you guys early this week.
That'll be perfect. And I'll try to get mine in.
Yeah, that helps. And then next week for conference champion, or the week after for conference championship, we're gonna pick every game because
I love it. And I'll have a story of one of the most epic weekends I've had in Vegas. And I told you off the air, and I'll tell anybody listening, there's a lot of weekends I like to go to Vegas. One of my favorite is championship weekend with the football games, Friday and Saturday. You rolled into an NFL Sunday. I had an epic weekend. If you get a chance, you got to go experience it. And I'd say experience it like I did at the Circa Swim, the pool outside with the biggest TV in Vegas out there. Yeah. Unbelievable. 70 degrees, pool, bottle service. It's all good.
What we need to do, Mike, have you seen that place in Dallas with the giant screen?
It's coming to Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming to Detroit. Once that opens,
yes,
we need to go watch a game there.
Yeah, we'll go watch one of the big games there. 100%.
I love it.
You feel like you're there. I love it. All right, buddy.
All right. We will see you on Wednesday. Like I said, 4:00. Check us out. We'll be right here on all the same platforms, everything like that. Todd, thank you so much for everything you do for us. We really appreciate it because this show runs a hell of a lot smoother because of you.
Yes.
So thank you.
We love Todd.
And Mike, have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Well,
I'm going to see you before. But I like to wish you multiple times.
I like it. Have a happy thawing out of the chicken and the turkey and the ham is what we'll do.
I'm doing steaks.
I love where your head's at. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love a steak. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Everyone, good luck this weekend.
You've been listening to Off the Board. Tune in all throughout the football season for weekly picks and insights. Subscribe to Unsyndicated and Off the Board on all your favorite social media and podcast platforms.